Australia's immigration isn't currently at record highs, and despite what anti-immigration protesters and even some politicians would have you believe, drastically cutting migration wouldn't protect Australia. It would tank our economy. So one of the big claims going around, which has even been repeated by some mainstream media, is that 1,500 people are arriving every day, which, yes, sounds dramatic, until you realise they've entirely misread the statistics. See, that number's from the overseas arrivals and departure data, meaning that it also includes, things like travellers and tourists, not just migrants. We've also been hearing Dutton's old election line repeated a lot.
Labor has opened the migration floodgates. A record 1 million migrants have arrived in Labor's first 2 years.
The number is somewhat exaggerated, but look, it is true. Migration was significantly higher in 22 and 23. However, what everyone conveniently forgets to mention is that in the years before, 20 and 21, it absolutely plummeted due to the COVID pandemic. In fact, we were in the negatives. 95,000 more people left Australia than arrived. So yeah, this was followed by several years where a bunch of people who would have migrated in 2020 but had their plans delayed ended up coming over, temporarily boosting immigration numbers, but not actually raising the population of Australia any higher than was predicted back before COVID. Plus, net overseas migration is already rapidly dropping back down. 2024 was already 37% lower than the peak. This COVID context also kind of throws a wrench in the whole migration is causing the housing crisis argument, doesn't it? Because you'd actually have to see a significant overall rise in migration to match the skyrocketing house prices. And there wasn't one. In fact, house prices were still booming back in 2020 when immigration was at a 100-year low. Another idea that was bandied around some of the protests was that migrants are somehow draining resources that should be going to those born in Australia. And, let me check. Oh, yeah, that's blatantly untrue, and in fact, it's the opposite. Now, obviously, the value that migrants bring to Australia is way bigger and way broader than just a dollar figure. This is a question of ethics just as much as it is economics. But since the anti-immigration crowd won't stop bringing up the economy
and the effects that it's having on just ordinary Australians out there with housing, with health, and infrastructure.
Let's fact check them. In the 24-25 financial year, 185,000 people were given permanent residency. 71% of those slots were reserved for skilled workers who have qualifications and skills to fill gaps in our labour market. Basically, there's not enough Australian-born people in areas like IT, engineering, education, and nursing for our country to be able to keep functioning. But not only are these migrants absolutely essential, they also tend to pay way more in taxes than they receive in government services. According to the Grattan Institute, it's estimated that each skilled migrant will end up providing Australia with a net gain of $250,000 across their lifetime. The economics are pretty clear. Banning or significantly reducing migration would mean less money for the government, higher deficits, and less support services and resources for all Australians. We would be a poorer country. Not just in dollars, but yes, also in dollars. It is as simple as that.